Warning: the following podcast show that you're about to listen to will include explicit language and content in which you, the members of the audience, may find offensive. Audience discretion is advised.
Welcome to another episode of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience.
Yeah, boy.
Where anything and everything is a subject matter on the show, and no subject matter is ever taboo.
Damn, that's what's up with you.
And now, your host with the most, Mr. Kim Hoang. Bro, am I getting paid for this?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How in the world are you? This is your boy Kim Hoang, the Asian sensation, and we're here creating another great episode of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience, coming at you live over at the KU Dungeon over in Annapolis Junction, Maryland. Now, guys, I want to clarify something. I want to make this crystal clear. In the state of Maryland, there are two Annapolises. There's the Annapolis, Maryland that you know, which is the capital city of the Maryland state. And, you know, I'm born and raised in Annapolis, so I should know. And then a couple of more minutes up the road, if you follow, 97 going to 32 is Annapolis Junction, Maryland. So there's two different types of Annapolises, guys. Don't get it twisted and don't get it confused because, you know, that is the situation. I know a lot of people are like, Annapolis Junction, is that Annapolis? No. Annapolis Junction, my dude. Annapolis Junction. But that's okay. You know, now that we got that clarified, it's all good in the hood. I'm actually here today, and it's wonderful. It's a little bit warmer this time around for this time of year. I know a couple of days previous before this day today, it was really cold, and it was upsetting. And I just want to give you, my opinion as an Asian man. As a yellow man, we don't deal with the cold very well. We don't. That's just not what we do. You know, give me 70 or 80 degrees, every day. You know, I'm down with that. If it somehow gets into 90s or 100, whatever, but at least it's not cold. I'm all right with it. Maybe it's because it's in my blood and, my Asian DNA, I'm built for that. But I tell you right now, this cold weather is for the birds. You can stuff it. But today was pleasant and it was beautiful. I mean, I thought that I needed to have my jacket, but when I stepped outside, I said, you know what? I'm just going to take it off. I'm going to wear my long sleeve Vans shirt, and I'm just going to go ahead and just do what I do. And we're here. We're fired up and ready to go. The equipment is running very well today. And ladies and gentlemen, as always, I am trying to diversify in having more in-studio guests, in-person guests, because I just like the dynamic a little bit more. I'm not saying that I don't like doing my own solo full-length episodes, which is a blast, because you guys actually come up with great questions for me when I do the Q&A segment. But every now and then, it's nice to kind of go back and forth with a person, especially if they're in person, and you can kind of swing ideas and so forth, and you get to hear the dynamic of where it goes, because in this type of situation, you don't really know what you're going to get. You think that you're going to go for a right turn and you actually go to the left. You think that you can go straight, but somehow you just put it in reverse and you go back in the opposite direction. And this is what it is. This is what it's all about. Plus, like I've said, I've always wanted to interview more people that have creative mediums. People like actors, people like musicians. If you're a person that does painting or something like that, or industrial art, maybe a tattoo artist, maybe a chef. Hell, I'll even, interview a martial artist. If it's something that is done with creativity, that's what it's here for, folks. That is what it's here for. And we're here, and we're doing it. And you know what? Today, guys, you're in for a treat. This guest actually reached out, and it was really cool because, he actually got referred, and it was through a mutual friend who was also an alumni guest on the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. You may remember her from a few episodes back, Amanda Megan, who is an actor, producer, and a director. And she just came up and said, yeah, you know what? I got this guy this dude who is an actor, and I really think that he might be worth your while. And I said, okay, why don't you set it up where we can, have an introduction of sorts, and we can make it happen. And, maybe like a few days later, that introduction happened, and we are here today. And this gentleman is an actor. He's acted actually in a couple of, projects, and it's already listed in IMDb, and it's very impressive for a short amount of time that he's been acting. He's done a lot of things already. Previous projects include, and if I'm just quoting what is on IMDb, The Mountaineer, Shrek Show, 1031 Part 3, Crime Nation, Killer Campout Part 2, Crack Coon, and then soon enough, I understand that he's going to be in the upcoming movie These Things, which is a Key 13 Films project. Matt L. Anderson, shout out to you, sir, because you were also a past guest on my show, and I really appreciate that you came in. And he's coming all the way in from Pennsylvania, about 1 hour out from where we are in the KU dungeon. And it's great that we're having this moment right now. So for the one time live here at the KU Dungeon in Annapolis Junction, Maryland, here on the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience, I bring to you actor Justin Martin is in the scene. Justin, what's going on, big time?
Ooh, hey, how's it going, Kim?
Thanks
for
good.
having me.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate that you trekked all this way, to do a rare in-person interview.
I know, right? It's like prior to COVID days.
Yeah, right.
Everyone now is like, no, I want virtual. No, I love to travel. I like the in-person, the interaction, the collaboration. I'm all about it.
This is my opinion. I do like the virtual option, if that's like an option that is leading you there, only there, and you have no other option.
Right.
Example, if I'm in the Washington, D.C. area and I'm going to interview, let's say, a martial arts actor that's in L.A., California, there's no way that actor is going to travel all the way over to Washington, D.C. to do an in-person, interview. So, virtual is the only way to go, and I don't mind that because it is useful in the terms of convenience.
Right.
However, if we can get people that are not far from here, about an hour and a half, and if they can trek it up here to have an in-person interview, I feel like that's so much better because it's a little bit more personal. Right. The quality of the episode is guaranteed that it's going to be almost close to perfection.
Right.
Whereas though if you're doing it online, there could be a little bit of a problem with the wireless internet. There could be a spike in the connection. Maybe it's from that person who's hosting it, or it could be from the other person. You don't know what's going on.
You don't know. And in here, if one goes bad, probably there's a good chance both of us might go down.
Yeah.
So at least we're going down together, there's no interruptions, hopefully. So knock on wood.
Yeah. Well, how was the drive over here? Was it a good drive?
Oh, it was good. No traffic, no people. I was kind of confused about where I was. I thought I was dreaming for a minute. Smooth sailing all the way down. And the weather, like you were talking about today, is beautiful considering we're in mid-February and a couple weeks ago the groundhog saw their shadow.
Yeah.
So we know there's a couple more weeks of winter.
Yeah.
But today, to me, it's a day you don't really need your jacket.
No, it really doesn't. I mean, if you wear the jacket, fine.
Yeah.
I think at that point it's more preference. Mm-hmm. But to me, I feel like me speaking personally, I don't require it right now.
Yeah, no.
So
and if I didn't think ahead, but knowing that I wasn't expecting to start sweating in my car, I'm like. I'm halfway here. I'm like, dang it, maybe I should have brought my deodorant or something, because who knows what's going to happen. We talk about in-person interviews. The last thing I want is for you to smell the person in front of you.
Oh, man. No,
I smell good. Don't worry.
You're good, man. I feel like if you took a shower this morning, you're basically, that's half the battle.
I did, and used half of my bottle of cologne. So I think you're going to have good smells if, the waves go up through your nostrils. You're okay.
Yeah. I had to make sure for me personally, because yesterday before, today that we did the interview, I was here, in two parts, because that we're in a facility where it's also like a gym, I did a little bit of a workout.
Nice.
So yeah, I broke a little bit of a sweat. It was nice. And then after that, just making sure that today's setup was done so that when it came to this moment right now, there's very minimal that I need to do.
Right.
All I just need to do is just power up, set up the levels, and we're off to the races.
Oh, it's great to be prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you podcasters out there, understand that if you're going to do an in-person interview, make sure the day before everything goes smooth.
Yes.
So that, if, when it comes to the day of, there is like only one thing, maybe two things that you need to do.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
And bless your heart for being your own tech, because when I was doing my podcast years ago in two different studios, two different companies that did it, both of them, we had a technician that was running the board.
Yeah.
So thankfully, I just had to come in and start talking, right?
Yeah.
And so that was easy. I don't know if I could ever be my own tech, but it doesn't seem too challenging, but my goodness, I'd rather just be on here talking and not have to do the logistics of it all.
I think, like, for me, it's like when you do podcasting for, a very long time, you kind of know a little bit of the technical steps, and so forth, and you start picking up on things, and you start noticing things. You take notes, you do experimentation. So it's like, okay, if I'm going to, let's say, do like a solo episode, I can just do this and it'll be fine. If I know that I'm going to have a guest or more than one guest at the same time, which I've done, I have to, change up the levels this way and set it up this way where it benefits everybody in terms of like the quality of what you're getting, like, vocal wise and volumes and levels and so forth. Because having a host level versus guest levels, it's two different ball games.
Oh yeah.
So,
and I like the versatility. You're able to kind of be a little bit more experienced in the technical side and the hosting side. So it's kind of like get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, and I think it's just like I know like what I like.
Yeah.
So it's easier for me just to go ahead and do it myself than to somebody just say, "Oh, I'm going to do." No.
Which is what I'm used to. I'm like, "Hey, don't turn me down." If I start getting loud, No, but yeah, absolutely.
Well, let's jump right into it, man.
Awesome.
I'm really excited that you're here. Let's start from the beginning of things. You are currently living over in Pennsylvania right now.
Yeah, I just bought my first house there 2 years ago, I want to say, which I wasn't ever planning to land in PA, but I did.
Where in PA?
I'm in York.
York, okay, yeah.
Everyone's like, New York? No,
York.
Unfortunately, York,
Up
PA.
at 83. Up to 83.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like a pass-through city. Like, nobody lands in York to stay there. But coincidentally, the house I was looking for, comparable to Baltimore, was way cheaper in York. Like, literally $200,000 cheaper.
Right.
So I'm like, hey, I'm going to buy this house there. It's, it's only an hour away from Baltimore. So, but I'm back and forth all the time. I'm like never in PA. I'm always in Maryland.
Right. Now, originally, you are born and raised in Maryland, right?
DC.
DC,
but
okay.
Grew up in PG County, Maryland, for most of my life.
Okay. So what were you like back in the day? I mean, were you like an outgoing kid? Were you a shy kid? Were you an athletic kid? Were you like a creative arts kind of kid or an actor? Like, what was your flavor?
It's a good question, because no one's ever asked me that. I don't know how to start this conversation without like talking bad about trauma and past. I mean, I grew up, I love my family, I love where I grew up, but I grew up in a very sheltered household situation.
Okay.
Very religious family.
Okay.
And I kind of wasn't as much religious myself back then. But anyway, so it was hard. Like, I went to private Christian schools, and, I kind of went against what I was being taught in the Bible per se. And and I grew up in a rehab. Like, it sounds really strange. I wasn't addicted to anything, but it was a family-owned business, and my father and my grandfather and my uncle owned a rehab center.
Oh, wow.
So literally, we lived on the third floor where all the condo apartments were. That's where all my family lived, in different apartments. 2 floors below us was patients that lived in this rehab. So from birth up until maybe 2 years old, up until, I don't know, 16, 15, I lived above a bunch of addicts, for a lack of better words. It was hard. I mean, it's not a place for a kid to live.
Yeah.
But that's where I grew up. But my life, getting into entertainment and getting into creative arts and expressing myself in a different way, coming from this sheltered environment, coming from a religious family, I kind of use an outlet for me, which was entertainment and media. At a young age, I started training myself, if not to sound too cliche, but some of my favorite shows when I was young was like Friends, which is still my favorite show to today.
For sure, yeah. I love Friends.
Friends and Full House and Seinfeld. So all those different shows, what I would do as a 8-year-old up through maybe 12 or 13 years old, I used to go, this is back when TV Guide was on TV, and you could see what's coming up.
Yeah.
And I would print out scripts from websites that had all the different shows by episodes, and they had a full script. And I would print out the scripts in preparation a day before, and I would play a different character every time before that episode aired.
Okay.
Study the lines, practice the emotions, as a young kid. I mean, nobody taught me that. I just wanted to do that because I wanted to break out into acting so bad.
Right.
And I just wanted to be known. Like, I wanted to have my name out there where people respect the work that I was trying to do at a young age. So I did that for many years. And I think before going to take professional courses for acting, that's what led me into it. And I kind of already had a lot of that under my belt, because I've already practiced a lot of it. And I did theater and all that in school, but it was a hard life growing up. I'm not going to lie. It wasn't easy. And it wasn't until I was like 17, 18 before I moved out on my own when I was 18, which was hard. But that's when I finally got into the start of my career in entertainment at a very young age.
Yep. Now, was it at that time when you were all about Friends and Seinfeld and all that? Was that the moment where you said to yourself, this is something that I would like to pursue as a long-term career, or was it before that? Where is the dart aiming on the dartboard?
Yeah, it was around that time.
Okay.
And when my parents and friends and teachers and people around me in the community who knew me when I was that young, they always tell you to get your head out of the clouds, right? For me, when you're young, like, you're watching TV, but you don't really connect the dots of, like, this isn't real. Like, these aren't real lives, but these are real people, but they're acting.
Yep.
So when I learned that, I was like, oh my God, so I can be a totally different person than my life I'm living right now.
Right.
And that be broadcasted and be able to have fun with it.
Yep.
So it was around that time of, being under 12 years old, I will say, that I started having an interest in living in somebody else's shoes.
Yep.
Being able to portray that and see if I can do that in a good way and make it, realistic, believable.
Yep.
So that's when it kind of like opened the doors for me, and I loved it. I mean, I would rather play somebody else every day than myself. Not that I don't like my life, I love it, but who doesn't want to be able to play somebody else?
Yeah.
Like, even for once, if not all the time. It's so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that. Let's see. Okay. So you had your interest there with, starting out with, we're going to review again. We're going back to the chapter here on this DVD. You see Friends, you see Seinfeld, you're very interested. You're saying to yourself, this is what I want to do. You're fired up and ready to go. There were some people that you knew in terms of direct relatives and people of your peers that say get your head out of the clouds, but you were already at that point, you were locked in.
Right.
Where did you go from that point? Did you decide to do, like, I'm going to go ahead and do like school plays, like in high school? Am I going to go ahead and do plays in, like, college and university? Where was your navigational course?
Yeah, good question. I started more in the middle to high school range of doing more of the training and opportunities in the community of doing acting. Okay. Outside of me just printing out scripts and reenacting, for the episodes of the shows I was watching.
Right.
So I did school plays in middle school. High school is when it became a little bit more normal normal in my world because we would tour to different areas in the cities around us to do plays. Like I did Wizard of Oz, I played the Scarecrow. That was my first big play where we traveled all around, like, in Michigan and Maryland as well, but we were kind of traveling to different areas. So it wasn't just in the city I lived in.
Yeah.
Which I loved. I was like, great, now we can take it on the road and do so much more.
Yeah.
So that was my first theatrical performance that I really loved, which was really fun for me. And, I always loved like Wizard of Oz and Wicked and The Wiz. Of course, most of us do, but that's something that I think for me was a good stepping stone. And theater, obviously, as you probably know and can imagine, theater is so much different than film and TV as far as entertainment.
Course. Yeah.
And it's harder for me to do theater. I actually don't like to do it anymore. I wouldn't want to do it. If I was provided an opportunity, I would, but you have to. It's just the rules of theater are so different than film, where it's a little bit harder. It's more of a thought process and preparation to get into it. That film is just, you're mic'd up, you have a few rules, but you're ready to go. Don't look at the camera, don't break the wall there, but you don't have to worry about projection as much. You don't have to worry about talking to the back of the audience and just the different things that come with theater that is harder for those who prefer to do film and TV.
I always thought that acting was, and I'm going to use this analogy, in the world of acting, it's like martial arts. But, there's different type of disciplines in the martial arts. Like there's different type of disciplines in acting, whether if you want to do like stage, okay, but do I want to do like stage theater, like regular type of theater, or do I want to do musicals?
Yeah.
Or do I not want to do any of those things and I want to go into like film acting? Okay, you're in film acting. What branch of film acting do you want to do? Do you want to do comedy? Do you want to do action? Do you want to do drama? Do you want to do horror? Do
all of them, maybe. You never know. So many avenues.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, what I'm saying is like there's so many different types of disciplines, but there's so many different possibilities.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So, and you don't really know until you get into it what you want to do.
Right. So why make the jump from being in like theater and musical theater to film acting? Like why make the leap?
I think for me that was the only way for me to transition into that different genre or avenue of entertainment and production, because my parents, they're supportive, but they didn't really support me in my goal of entertainment and acting. So it was up to me to decide what I wanted to get and what I was going to do. And if they approved of it, if I was, underage and they had to sign off on something, but they weren't pushing me like some parents do with their kids who are in the entertainment industry nowadays, where they go crazy. It wasn't like that. I didn't have that experience. So if I wanted to do it, I had to find a way to get it done. If my parents approved or if the principal approved, whatever the case was, if I was in school, when I finally hit, I think it was 18 or 19, when I finally was a quote-unquote young adult and I didn't have to have a parent signature anymore, then I could start looking into the training side of acting, where I just have to get a job and pay for it on my own because my parents are going to pay for it. Which is how I started into entertainment, which wasn't even acting. After theater, I got into modeling. And after I got contracted for different contracts for like 3 years of modeling, then I got introduced to different people in the area, like directors, producers, entertainment companies, to get into television. So I kind of took a stepping stone and dipped my toe in every single avenue of that entertainment industry, if you will, to get to where I am. And my end goal was to, at that point, be able to check off the boxes of all those different stops.
Let's segue back a little bit.
Yeah.
When it comes to your parents, were they very like traditional and old school to the point where like they're thinking, we want you to, be in a stable lifestyle where there's some structure and that you're guaranteed to make X amount of like salary annually? Or were they just like kind of like free going parents where it's like, okay, if this is what you want, go for it?
Yeah, well, more of the first.
Okay.
Option A. I was kind of born and raised in a very religious household.
Very traditional and old school?
Yes.
Yeah.
And my dad's side of the family, they owned their own business for now, as of today, it's been like 40 years in running, 30 to 40 years in running.
Bless them.
Yeah, I mean, and they were, again, very structured, very much active in the community, but they had a foundation.
Yep.
Everything was prepared in the next steps they took. So I kind of was raised to be that way. Well, what they wanted me to be, anyway.
Right.
I did branch out from that, and now I work as a VP at a bank. In addition to following my dreams for all these years in entertainment, I can still balance both actively at the same time. So I'm making them proud with my career, but I'm also making myself proud because I would prefer to do more of the fun stuff that I would call my hobbies and my passion.
Yeah.
Banking is fun, but that's what I've done for 17 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not my dreams, but I do it.
No, but it's something that pays the bills and
does.
keeps you afloat for now until, let's say, somebody out there in Tinseltown's like, hey, we got a good offer for you where, we want you to, act in this major Hollywood film that's going to be, starring Dwayne Johnson.
Right.
And we want you to be in there. You'll be like, at that point, you're just like, when can I take the first flight?
Right.
Can it be right now?
Exactly. I don't need a 2-week notice. I'm good.
I'm good, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's already the automatic guarantee.
Yes, and that is the goal, right?
Yeah.
For many people in acting, that is the goal to get there.
At what point did you say to yourself, okay, I'm going to jump into major film or just film acting.
Yeah.
I'm going to make the jump to film acting, and this is it. There's no going back for me.
Yeah. That didn't really happen, I think, until I was in my mid-20s.
Okay.
Because beforehand, I was very young, very naive. I accepted anything that was given to me, like literally like a dog with raw meat. Give it to me. Like I was all over it, attacking it.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, and you're going to, when you have a passion for something and you don't get many opportunities, you're going to go for what you want.
Right.
But when I got to be in my mid-20s, and being on my own since I was 18, so by that time, in my mind, I was a full-grown adult because I had lived on my own for many years. I felt that I was able to equally balance my full-time career job with this passion and doing both eye to eye. Kind of like Miley Cyrus, Hannah Montana. I'm living the best of both worlds, right?
Yeah.
So I did that, and I think when I got to like 25, by that time, I had done, again, a couple TV gigs. I did 3 reality shows, which were documentary series between ABC, Lifetime, and Oxygen Channel. And I was like, all right, I've checked that box off of reality TV. Now, what haven't I done? Film, and I really want to do film. So it was at that point that I started getting into like putting myself out there more with training, building my resume, my actor's reel. And once I started doing my first film, I was like, oh my God, it's so different from theater and TV and modeling. So I'm like, this is where I want to be. This is my home. It like has a special place in my heart. So from there, I just continue to really only book film gigs and not so much TV. I've done a couple, but I spend my time more wisely in those more major productions, if you will. That's going to give me the best out of my time.
But the thing about it is, though, when you book yourself into like, a major TV network series, it's guaranteed that you're going to get some compensation.
Oh yeah.
And for me, it's like, oh shoot, if that's the reward, I'm all for it. Why not do something that I love to do and get paid at the same time?
Right.
I don't think there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's not.
Yeah.
And I really think it depends on people who decide they want to do this full time.
Right.
And become, a union actor versus non-union. I'm non-union. I've had an offer to be union many times. I won't do that because, one, it's expensive.
Yeah.
If you want to do that, you got to be invested fully to do that. You're paying a lot. Second, if you have an agent, which I've had many agents, if they want you the very next day to go to New York for a gig or an audition, if you can't because you're working a full-time job, that counts against you. So you have to really know what you're willing to give up or give in your journey to know whether or not you're going to make it, whether you're fully acting or whether you're balancing it with something else. It was harder for me because I've decided to balance it with a full-time job, but with flexibility over time in 15 years, 17 years in the industry of my full-time job, now I have a lot of time off. I have a lot of flexibility. Now I can balance these two passions eye to eye without having challenges.
Yeah.
TV was something where you usually have to be union first, but if you're doing a reality series or you're doing a crime series reenactment, which I think I've done 5 of those, it's like you're filming for maybe 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
So it's not a huge commitment.
Yeah.
And you do get paid really good.
Yeah.
You get paid really good. So it's valuable. It's worth it.
When do you think that you would ever decide to cross the line and say, you know what, I think now is a good time to, join the union and to really, punch it into the proverbial 5th gear?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to push myself to that lane, because, not to say my age or put myself out there with my age, but yeah, I'm in my mid to late 30s, and at this point for acting, it's either I know the roles that I would get. In the next 5 years, I'm going to be getting a role in the age range of 38 to 43. You're going to have in my opinion, less opportunities than I would have going back 15 years ago.
Okay.
Where I could play a college kid, where I can play, early 20s. I don't have as many opportunities as I did those, back then.
Right.
So I have to know if I'm financially going to be in my well-being in a good spot. Mm-hmm. Do I want to forfeit all this that I put into my career to get to a vice president in banking and finance, which is a very reputable career? My next level would be a senior vice president or executive. So by that time, I've reached the top of the ladder, and it's up to me to decide, do I just stay there and comfortable in my financial situation, or do I take a leap, like you said, but am I taking a risk that's worth it? I don't know. That's the thing. You don't really know until you try it, and that's a scary part of the industry. Is some actors take a risk and they just go with the hope that they're going to get a good gig, get it booked, and they don't have to worry about income otherwise. But I don't know if at this point in my life, I don't know if I want to take a risk in making that my full-time, knowing that if I'm out of money, I'm in trouble. Like I have a life, I have a mortgage, I have a lot of bills now to pay for. I don't know if I'm going to be able to just rely on getting booked and it covering 6 months of my bills.
Gotcha.
Let's
go back to the hypothetical. Let's say, for example, that, you did get that guaranteed opportunity, in a major Hollywood movie where, albeit action or comedy or, horror or something like that. Would that at that point, would your decision shift over a little bit?
I think so. I think it would, depending on the role that I would get.
Right.
If it was a lead or supporting, and what does the contract look like? And am I guaranteed for 2 films within this series or segments? Is it going to be something for the next 3 to 5 years that I have a financial cushion for, that I'm going to be earning money? Yeah, because I have time to prepare myself for when that contract ends. Either I need to start looking for work or look for my next gig.
Yep.
So yes, I would. I just think it depends on what the opportunity is. If it's an independent film, obviously that's a whole different conversation. If it's something that's not guaranteed to give you, the next year's worth of what you need, then I would have to really consider the risk.
I understand.
But if it was,
right,
100%, I would definitely consider it. What's in the contract? What does it look like?
Right.
Some are really good. Some could be, $30,000, $40,000, depending on what you're going for and what role you're getting.
Right.
It could be enough to last you for the year. Where it's, it's worth that step into the other realm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's shift a little bit and take a detour. You said that you were into modeling at one point.
Yes.
Before acting, I think.
Yes.
What was that like?
It was hard. It was so much fun.
Okay.
But modeling is hard. You have to stick within this box of requirements, dietary restrictions, the way you cut your facial hair if you have it, or they might want you fully shaven at all times. I mean, there's so many requirements to fit this polished standard of what they're looking for, that if you go outside of that, there's a chance you end your contract. There's a chance that they don't use you for different bookings. And that's hard. So at a young age, I was okay with whatever they told me to do. Tell me to do it, I'll do it. Yeah, sure. Because I didn't care. They were leading me to success in my mind, so I would listen to them.
Yeah.
But I did have to make sure I maintained, a certain weight, which was hard. Not eating a lot or working out a lot to stay. And younger, you have a fast metabolism, so it's easy to not gain as much. If you're active. So I was, but there's just a lot of different requirements in modeling. If you're working with a local designer, it's easy peasy. If you're in like New York Fashion Week or DC Fashion Week or LA Fashion Week, a little bit easier. But if you're working with larger organizations like Hugo Boss, American Eagle, which I've done advertisements for them, it's a lot stricter. So it is much harder to be able to accomplish what you're hoping to. But the pay is really good. The experience, it opens so many doors that a lot of people don't realize. Like, you get exposure into a different world, and then you get a lot of bookings just from doing one gig. 3 more are waiting for you.
And that was going to be my next question. Like, with modeling, were you like more on like runway? Were you print? What avenue?
I started print. All photos. My first, I'd say, year and a half, 2 years of modeling. After I did different ads and print with, like, again, American Eagle, Hugo, I ended up transitioning into a modeling school where somebody found me who had an organization based out in DC and a little bit in New York. We worked across both areas. And they asked me, and I was only like 23 years old, 24 maybe, they asked me to be a teacher, a modeling instructor for their program.
Okay.
And I was like, wow, like, do I have what it takes? But they're asking me, sure, let's do it. It's getting good exposure, good pay. So I did that for 5 years. In between, working a full job and everything else, I taught classes from kids from 8 years old all the way up to like 16.
Right.
And then I started getting more into runway. We taught them how to walk on the runway. I was so much invested into teaching my students, especially those who were like the female models. I'm not gonna lie, I threw on a pair of heels that were 6 to 8 inch heels, and I showed them how to walk on the runway in heels, and I don't know if I could still do it to today.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Oh, wow.
I never fell. Not one time did I fall. I don't know what I had it in me. Maybe my hips are just loose like Shakira, but man, I'm telling you, like, I was walking down that runway, but I taught them that for so many years, and I loved it. And then, of course, obviously male models are easier to teach. They don't do too much on the runway. Right. But I just learned so much, and it was everything from the walk to, at the end of the runway, your poses, your stances, the different techniques and choreography, if you had that involved in the show. We did all of that. We taught a lot, and it usually was a 2-month program while the kids were out of school. So it would be like summer, sometimes during a winter, spring break. So the program would last, the workshop would last 2 months out of every year. And I did that for about 5 years. Okay. Yeah.
At what point, or no, let me rephrase that question. After being in modeling for, as much as you have and had a lot of opportunity, and do I even dare say that you found some success?
Yeah, sure.
At what point did you say that, it's time for me to jump ship, and why did you jump ship?
I think knowing that I had some people waiting on the other side of the door, and opportunities there for me to jump into, again, film that I had not really done at that point in my life leading up to everything else I had done. It was a new avenue for me. It was scary, but it was exciting. And I was starting to do film while I was balancing modeling still, so it was an easy transition. Okay. I didn't fully have to leave out of the one to get to the other, but once I got more into it after a year or two of film, I did completely jump ship into primarily just film. Yep. Because for me, that provided a lot more longevity in my career. Yep. I was booked. I wasn't necessarily only going to be booked for like 4 weeks. I could be doing a project that lasts 3 months,
Yep.
On and off. So I said, this is going to give me more long-term success and what I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of why I made the decision in doing that, because I'm also going to get more exposure doing film.
Yeah.
More even just for myself, for safekeeping purposes of having my footage and being able to go back years later and see it. I don't really have that necessarily in like runway or modeling, because once you do it, if it's a year later, they're not focusing on that.
Yeah.
Whereas film and or TV, that's content you have for life.
Yep.
Yeah, so I wanted to make sure I can do something that's going to give me more exposure indefinitely.
If the opportunity was right, would you shift back into modeling, or would you be comfortable to say that for you that train is passed?
Not runway. Well, me walking on a runway, sure, I love it. I would love to do another runway show.
Nice.
Teaching it, no. My bones are getting brittle. I feel like now I'm becoming like the Tin Man, like quick, like I need some WD-40, whatever you call it, because times have changed from 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
My limbs aren't as loose like they used to be. So I think it would be more challenging now for me to try to teach it. But doing it, 100%. I would love to get back into print and runway. And, the last time I've done print was probably about 3-4 years ago, so it wasn't too far in my past.
Okay.
And I know I could do more. If I auditioned more for like DC Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week, which I have done, without a doubt, it's a time commitment. Usually can take up a model's time of about a month or a month and a half.
Right.
Between fittings and preparation, testing, and actually doing the show. It can take a while. I would rather put that time into a film production, but 100% I would go back on the runway, because they're still looking for adult male models older than 35 who are going to wear suits and business outfits to promote that particular designer.
Right.
100%.
Okay.
I would still do that.
Okay.
Not only that, I wouldn't only do that, but I would still add that to my, my overall goal of doing that and film.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, now, I mean, let's turn the acting chapter. Let's go right and read into this acting chapter. You're a film actor. You've done a lot of stuff. What was the first thing that you ever worked on?
First thing for film?
Yes, sir.
First thing for film that is credible enough, not background, but more credible.
Right.
Speaking roles would probably be the Mountaineer.
Okay.
And I mentioned this in an interview yesterday. I don't normally talk about the Mountaineer just because there are some things with that production and how it ended up that wasn't quite where we thought it would be. And a lot of my stuff was cut out. It is what it is. It happens. But that was my first credible role as a supporting actor, playing the role of Jed in The Mountaineer, which is out there on Prime and a couple other streaming platforms. But the director who did it, who's I think full-time wrestler, Richie Acevedo, if I'm saying his name correctly.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's more like indie wrestling or what have you, but he did this film as a producer and director, and he was one of the lead roles in the film as well.
Okay.
So it was his like passion project. And
ladies and gentlemen, not to disturb anything, but according to IMDb, Richie Acevedo is a pro wrestler who wrestled under the moniker the Cuban Assassin. I remember the Cuban Assassin.
That's right.
Yes, because the Cuban Assassin, guys, was a heel back in the WCW days. You're talking to a wrestling nerd here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I remember the Cuban Assassin.
Yeah, you might be the first person I've mentioned him to that actually remembers. That's good. Because not many people I talk to are into like wrestling and all that, so that's really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was his passion project, and so it was a referral to him from another source.
Right.
The lady's name was Diana Norris. I think she's in California or Florida now. I don't know which one, but she's a well-known actor out there. She came over here to do a film, and when I was doing a podcast at that time, she was a guest on my show, and we interviewed about her upcoming opportunities, and this was mentioned. Behind the scenes, she reached out to me and said, hey, they have this role available. I'm going to pitch you for it to the producer.
Yep.
Would you want it? And I'm like, heck yeah. So we went for it, and I got it. It was a pretty easy audition, considering the lengthiness it takes the length of the process it takes to audition. It didn't really go that route. It was really fast.
Now, where was the Mountaineer? Like, where was it shot?
That was shot in... Oh, the city. What was the city name? I remember the area was called Markoff's. It was like a fairground. I don't know if it was West Virginia or Maryland, but it was probably right in between the two states.
I feel like the Markoffs is in the Maryland state line.
Yeah, I think it is.
I think so.
So they have like a haunted fairground set up, which is where we did Shriek Show.
Yeah.
They have that, and then right beside it, they have a whole fake Western city set up.
Yep.
So that's where we filmed Mountaineer, in the Western city.
Okay.
And it was a really nice, I mean, we had the whole set to ourselves, every building that was on set. So it was really nice, great areas to film to give the look and feel of that Western aesthetic. And a lot was done like in the fields and stuff in that area, where like all the cornfields and open areas. But that, you know, it was a different film. It was a different opportunity because it was more of a passion project.
There you go.
But hey, it opened the door for me to get my feet wet, and that's where I met Brad Twigg, who is the producer and director at Fuzzy Monkey Films.
Yes.
He was the sound and camera guy and crew with his team that were helping to film that movie for Richie. So that's where I met Brad, and he held my hand right into Fuzzy Monkey, and I've been part of that family for almost 6 or 7 years now for Fuzzy Monkey Films. When
I think of Fuzzy Monkey Films, the one actor who was associated with that, and I think is still associated with that production, and who was also coincidentally an alum guest on my podcast.
Oh.
Kay Leahy.
Kay Leahy, that's my on-screen girlfriend.
She's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, I love Kay to death. I mean, Kay, shout out to you. You're an amazing person. Yeah, she's really good.
Yeah, I love Kay.
Yeah.
She's a great actress. She really puts her heart into it. She's very passionate.
Yeah.
And we have surprisingly a lot of scenes together as love interests in some of our films. For those of you who know me personally, I don't typically lock lips with girls. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, but with Kay, I've had a lot of films where we just coincidentally are locking lips. So she's one of my on-screen girlfriends, we call it, or on-screen wives, because, you know, I've had the most kissing scenes with Kay, coincidentally.
Right on.
Which for me is fun. I'm like, let's do it.
Yeah.
I want to give it my all, you know. Let's see if I look straight on camera. Anyway, it's been fun.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, you worked with her on Killer Camp Out Part 2.
Yes.
Which is, that should be out by now, right?
It is.
Okay.
It just dropped, I think, November or December. It just dropped, so it's on Amazon Prime. And
it's on. Okay.
Yeah, it'll be coming to Tubi soon, but for now, it's on like the paid streaming networks for now.
That doesn't bother me. I mean, I have Amazon Prime, so therefore
Nice.
I have Amazon Video.
There you go.
So
Same here.
We're good. We're good.
Yes. Yeah.
So, folks, just a quick tip of the trade. If you have Amazon Prime, where, you know, you buy a lot of stuff and you get it within a day or two, you automatically get Amazon Video for free.
Yes.
So don't worry about, well, I'm not going to pay that much. Well, if you already pay for Amazon Prime to get your goods, you know, faster, then, you know, this is like, you know, the icing on the cake. You're good.
Yeah. You're already set.
You're already set.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, which, you know, really bothers me a little bit, because I have friends that I know they're just nice guys, but, you know, they just don't get the certain, like, you know, small print things.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, you know, dude, you know, do you have Amazon? You know, you're going to watch this on Amazon Video? Well, hell no, I'm not going to get that. Why am I going to pay for extra service? But you have Amazon Prime, right? So let me explain. If you have Amazon Prime, then ergo Amazon Video is included in Amazon Prime, so you're not paying for anything extra. It's one whole set.
It's no pun intended, packaged with it. Yeah. Well, and I always go down a different rabbit hole when they say that. They're like, "No, I don't have Prime." I'm like, "So you don't have Amazon?" "No, I have Amazon." So, well, you don't have Prime? They're like, "No." I'm like, "So is that where you normally order from? How much are you paying for ship?" Like, I'm always asking other questions to get to the end result of like, get Prime. For me, it's only like what, $10 or $11 a month, but I order from Amazon every day.
I do too.
So hey,
it's the godsend.
It is, and I
Yeah.
want my stuff in 2 days. It's great. I don't want to wait a week.
No, hell no. Mm-mm. Out of the question. I'll pay for the extradited service.
Me too.
No problem. And I get Amazon Video.
Exactly.
With that, perfect.
Exactly.
Sign me up.
Sign me up.
Sign me up. Man. All right. So Killer Campout Part 2 is out right now on Amazon Video. What was that experience like?
Oh, that was so much fun. Killer Campout 2 was an opportunity for me to work with talent I have not worked with before, many talent I have not worked with before, and then some familiar faces. So the synopsis of the film is really quick, is about a group of troubled, what I would say teenagers, young adults, let's say, who go off to Camp Phoenix to better themselves, to help release the trauma and past childhood issues that they faced. Some of them have anger issues. Some of them have problems with being, whether it may be, having issues with fighting or just anger in general. They all have something different about them that they're trying to work on. And so they come to Camp Phoenix. Mind you, this is part 2. None of us were in part 1.
Right.
There was a couple returning characters, but like the Sheriff Parks, they were a returning character, and the main killer, if you will, in the film was returning. But otherwise, everyone was new faces. So we were all fresh to it, part 2.
Gotcha.
And the good thing about this film is everybody had a backstory, so everyone's part was really important because they all played a part of the bigger objective of the ending and where things went from beginning to end.
Yep.
It began to build the story, and as you see it, unlike some other films, as you see Killer Campout 2, you begin to draw a connection to one character or another, and you really start loving them. Like, you don't want them to die, but at the same time, you're watching a horror movie, so you want to see somebody's head get cut off, right?
For sure.
But maybe you don't want it to be that person that you're, like, connecting to in the movie. But anyway, everyone has a great story. Everyone's able to be connected to in one way or another.
Yep.
And there's a lot of twists in the movie. How it starts and what you begin to see develop throughout the film. When it gets towards the end, it's not expected.
Yeah.
It's kind of I don't know how to say, it's a shocking twist. It's very odd. You just don't expect it to happen.
Right.
In a good way, in my opinion.
Right.
And my character, Will, was the camp leader of Camp Phoenix. So he's the one that's trying to help promote self-awareness and bettering our lives for all these kids or young adults. But Will has an alter ego, and Will has kind of another mission at hand that you don't find out about until later in the film. So it's a very interesting journey. I loved working with all of the actors on set because everyone had so much fun. It is a horror movie, and it's an 80s slasher style film, but it's also a little bit of comedy. You get quite a bit of comedy in this movie, where there's just a lot of funny jokes in between, and it's just, again, it makes it relatable and makes it more fun to watch.
Nice.
All the actors did an outstanding job.
Yeah. Let's see. So we've talked about The Mountaineer. We talked about Killer Campout Part 2. You were also in other productions, like I mentioned beforehand, Shriek Show, 1031 Part 3, Crime Nation, Crack Coon, which, just by the name is hilarious.
I know,
like, holy
right?
cow.
And it speaks for itself. You can tell what it's about.
Yeah. I mean, for sure.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some stuff that you're going to be working up that's upcoming in the pipeline. Like I mentioned, Key 13 Films, These Things.
Yes.
You're in that. If I remember correctly, another person that was a guest on my show, Jordan Hunley, is in that.
Love Jordan. She's great.
She's a powerhouse.
She is.
She's really good, and the fact that she's classically trained, and this was like her major, in her university days. Like, wow.
She hit the ground running.
Yeah.
Right out of her background in theater experience, she's jumped into so many projects in this last year, so many film projects, and I'm like really proud of her. Her progression is just impeccable in my mind. these things we've wrapped production, unless if we have some pickup shots, which I don't know if we do, but at this time production has finished, and it's Key 13, like you mentioned, a Matt Anderson film, and there were again some new faces like Jordan that I first met, like Christina Santiago, who is a really good friend of mine now. She was also a new face to me in this film, and a couple others. But this film was kind of like, what was that movie a long time ago? The Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. It has to do with objects that kind of have been taken over by an alien species or force, if you will. And these objects are like what they call like whoosh balls. Patent. We can't say koosh ball, or we can't say
we can't say that stuff, but we can say the other thing.
It's whoosh balls.
It's a whoosh ball, spiny ball.
It's yes, and there's just they're all all over the place in this set, in this movie. Like, they're all over, kind of like in a weird way. We're like, what's going on here? Why are there so many of these random toys laying around? But, you know, they're kind of rolling and breathing on their own and doing different things. And some of them have faces to them with huge chompers on them. So as you can imagine, that's not a good thing. They start going crazy and attacking, you know, many different people in the movie. But it was a fun movie. It was comedy for sure, but it was more like the suspense and not knowing what's going to happen next. That's more of the genre and avenue I would put it at, and from my point of view.
Right.
But that was my first time working in a film production with Matt Anderson.
Okay.
That was my first film with him.
Cast includes the following: yourself, Jordan Hunley, once again, as you mentioned, Christina Santiago, Kay Leahy was in there. Yes, I do remember that. Let's see, other people: Krista Hansen, I know she was in there, and one person who I am trying to get her on my show, but for some weird reason it's like, we're crossing the same street, but we're not looking in the same direction. Heather Harlow.
Oh, Heather, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was my first time meeting her on set. Yeah.
I told Heather straight up, like, if we ever meet one day, like, we're afterwards we're going to get tattoos.
Right.
Like, seriously, because
she would be the one to go with. Let me tell you.
Yeah. I mean, because I'm covered up, like, even though, like, I'm kind of concealed, but yeah, I got a lot of tattoo pieces that I'm very proud of.
Yeah. I got 8 of them. You just can't see them.
Yeah. I got like 40.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You're beating me there. Yeah.
Well, let's just say this: that's a lot of time on the chair.
Yeah. It is. But they're so addictive, aren't they? Like, tattoos are just amazing.
Yeah, they definitely are. It's like it's so true where they say, like, it's like tattoos are like Lay's potato chips. You can't have one.
You can't just have one.
Yeah,
no, something's wrong with you if you only got one.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But yeah, what was it like though? I mean, working in a film directed by Matt L. Anderson, what was he like as a director? I mean, was he pretty much laid back? Was he a person that ran a tight ship? How did you feel about him?
Yeah, Matt is laid back, but he also does run a tight ship because he's focused on the end result, and we had to stick to a schedule.
Yeah.
And during filming, especially with, at least from my experience in independent films, you have things that can change last minute. Mm-hmm. Even the day of, you might have a scene that gets cut, even though you've prepared for it and you're ready to be on set. You might go into set and be like, we're not doing that scene. Yeah. Things happen due to timing and getting everything crunched into like a 7-day window.
Yep.
So a lot of that did happen. Just like any production, we face challenges, but Matt, did his best and did a good job of having production meetings ahead of time so that the actors were all on the same page. Yep. We knew what we were stepping into. Yep. Having flexible time of our downtime when we weren't on set. Mm-hmm. We're on set, but we're not behind on the camera.
Yep.
Some of us were just kind of preparing for our next scene.
Yep. And
we had a lot of that good downtime and relationship building between the characters.
I see.
That sometimes you do or may not get in other productions. So that was nice.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Because, like, there's a difference of directors and style of directors when you work with them on film.
Yeah.
There are some that, are very relaxed, but at the same time, they run a tight ship.
Yep.
and they know what they want, and they get the job done.
Yeah.
The mission's getting completed.
Yep.
Then you have the director that unfortunately, let's just say for a lack of a better term, you're on the field, but every time that you're swinging, you're striking out.
Right. Right.
And it's either because you don't know what you're doing, because either you don't have experience,
Yep.
or you're just kind of like throwing your cards way up in the clouds and you're just hoping that one sticks.
Right. And just hoping it works out the way it needs to. Yeah. And I've worked with different directors who are on both sides of that spectrum. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
But it's so gratifying when you have a director that knows what they want. And I say they because, it's not just only like men that are directing, there are women that direct too.
Yeah.
So, we got to give respect to, to all specters of the gender trade.
Yes.
They know what they want, and they see it, and they're just like, okay, we got to nail this.
Right.
We got to nail this because,
Right.
if we don't, time is not going to be friendly on our side.
No, you don't want to fall off schedule.
No,
Yeah.
definitely not.
Yeah.
And when you fall off schedule, that's the domino effect waiting to happen.
It is.
Just falling down, and you're just like, oh crap.
It is. Because at that point, everything thereafter is going to be affected, and you might expect as an actor to be done by 10 p.m. that day of filming.
Right.
If things fall behind, you might have to be on the set till 1 or 2 a.m. because you have to get that shot.
Have you ever been in a project where like things fell so behind and off track that you're just like, what in the blue hell's going on?
The better way to angle that question, I think, would be, have you ever not been a part of a project?
Okay.
Because almost every project, and again, this just happens, has had those challenges. Mm-hmm. At least ones that I've been a part of.
Okay.
Almost every project. Some more than others, for sure. Even if it's a little mishap, or if it's, like you said, the domino effect.
Yeah.
But yes, I would say, I don't want to name any because I don't want them to take offense to it, because it's no one's fault. They're, one person versus another. But I would say at least 2 or 3 of the films I've done in the last 2 years have had that exact challenge.
And it's no secret that in the acting industry, sometimes you're going to, you're going to work with people that you definitely get along with very well.
Yes.
And the chemistry is there. You guys gel and mesh very well together, and it shows not only on the set but off the set.
Oh yeah.
And that's a good thing. However, on the other side of the coin, there are some things where you might work with people that are actors that may be difficult for one reason or another.
Yes.
Have you ever witnessed yourself personally in a project where that has occurred?
Yes.
How did you yourself deal with that as the individual actor, and how did the production, in your opinion, dealt with that situation?
Very good question. As an individual actor, when that has happened, it's hard. Sometimes I try to step up to be more like a mentor, just because I know what I've gone through in my experience, and I want to be more helpful than not.
Right.
So I've tried to help get them through whatever it is they need to get through, whatever it is.
Right.
If I've been able to do that and connect with them in that way. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, as an actor, if they're very sheltered or kind of standoffish, or they just have maybe a bad reputation, because some do in the industry, maybe they just are coming into it on that negative foot already. Mm-hmm. Where I honestly, that relationship between me and that person is only going to be truly our characters. I won't have anything to say to them otherwise.
Right.
I won't talk to them outside of set. I won't be friends with them in real life. I choose wisely, or more strategically, who I connect with when it comes to actors on and off set. But I don't want to give a cold shoulder unless if they're giving it, stepping in.
Right.
Again, I try to build a connection and help them get through whatever hurdles they're going through. As a production, oftentimes they don't play around with that kind of stuff.
Well, they shouldn't.
They can't.
Right.
Because you're affecting every other actor then, at least in that shot or scene that they're in with you.
Right.
So it's a little bit different because they probably don't have the one-on-one coaching time or ability to focus on that one person. You got to get your crap together and get it moving.
Yeah.
But I think that's where those particular people, unfortunately, kind of damper the production and leave a sour mouth and a sour taste in the mouths of the other actors and the producer and director.
Right.
And they burn that bridge themselves. They are literally the gasoline, and they're throwing their own match on themselves, which is unfortunate.
Right. Because there's some people that I've known in the acting industry that has faced that situation. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of 50-50 because some of them are like, well, for the sake of the project, I want to do what I can to try to mediate the situation because, I don't want it to literally blow up in somebody's face, especially mine because my name is associated with that.
Right.
Then there's some other people that are just like, you know what? I'm just looking out for myself because if I'm not doing that, and I'm only responsible for this, then that's the only thing that I can do just to make sure that I show the people out there and the director and the production team that, I am responsible for my own stuff. I am fulfilling that obligation. So therefore, you don't have to worry about me, worry about that person.
Right. And that's okay to point the finger in that time.
Right.
It is. You have to, at the end of the day, you really do have to worry about yourself. But like you said, if your name's associated with it and you're wanting to fulfill this project and really showcase it to where it needs to be,
right,
you want to try to lend a helping hand when you can. I won't give out any specific names or productions or producers or anything like that, but in the last... Let's just open the range up. In the last 3 years, let's say,
okay,
I've had like a particular production where, and I'm kind of surprised at myself. Again, it's a learning opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Where things were just a little bit more chaos left and right. Like every minute or hour of filming for a week or two at a time. Mm-hmm. And I was like, nothing is going right. And it wasn't a particular person necessarily ruining the environment or anything like that, but it was just the way the production was being handled and things that were happening in real time. And, again, a lot of stuff was getting cut. For me, what I was presented with for the opportunity in that film, when I got into signing the contract and getting into the preparation and reading the script and doing a walkthrough and table read, that's not the end result of where I landed.
Right.
So unfortunately, for me, I had stepped into something that wasn't quite presented to me in that way up front, which kind of left a little bit of a salty taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, well, honestly, I could have spent my time more wisely doing a different production.
Right.
Or working full-time and making what I make at my full-time job, if that's the case. But again, it was an opportunity, so I was trying to be grateful. But a lot of things were just so negative on the set in general due to all the challenges and changes that it kind of started to affect me a little bit. Like it really started to get in my head.
Right.
And it was hard to get back into character comfortably because I just felt like the next moment something else bad is going to happen. And I just hated feeling like that. But unfortunately, it wasn't just myself. So I'm kind of thankful it wasn't just me feeling that way. But again, I'm one that's fearful of burning bridges. So I won't if I don't have to. I don't want to do that.
Yep.
But that's one particular production that I kind of wish I had not done for my own sake. And because it hit me in a different way that has never hit me before, that made me feel extremely uncomfortable. And knowing me outside of acting and knowing me from when I grew up, everything comes out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Like, I'm known for fighting people back in the day. Like, I've been in handcuffs before for getting into trouble. Like, I don't have a problem effing somebody up. I don't. But at the end of the day,
right.
I think about my career and my journey and being a better person. So I'm not like I was, when I was 18 to 23 years old. But those moments of like, F this, came into my head, and I was very standoffish, and I'm like, I got very sassy a little bit, like, I'm not going to lie. I was almost like, okay, now you're bringing that side out of me, which I don't let happen in a professional environment.
Right.
And I didn't like that.
Okay.
And that has never happened.
Right.
So I kind of had to take a step back and just reel it in, Justin, reel it in. So I did. And, you know, it ended up where it ended up, and I'm hopeful that things, you know, kind of air itself out so that if there's a future opportunity, if I decide to accept an opportunity with that particular production company, then I'll know whether I want to go down that route. As of right now, probably the answer is no. It won't even be a thought in my mind. But who knows what the future holds.
I want to get your opinion on something. With a lot of actors recently that I've talked to, they have said that to them, mental health is very important, not only in acting but outside of it.
Yeah.
What's your stance?
Mental health is extremely important, because your brain just works in so many different ways. You can't control certain things from happening.
Right.
So once it gets to a point of bad mental health, whether it's anxiety, depression, or just not in a good state of mind, that is going to start to showcase in your presence, in your work. You don't want that to happen. Again, kind of going back to what I just said, my mental health and state of mind wasn't in a good place at that moment that I was in that production, and it started to affect me. And you don't want that to happen, because then you start having self-doubt, lack of confidence. You start to worry that you are now becoming this person that nobody wants you to be, and you don't want to be that person. So overall, mental health is very important. I've encouraged, whether it's in the avenue of models or actors, I've always encouraged people to take the time to find whatever it is that works for them, to give them that plug or that outlet they need to prepare themselves mentally for what they're doing and get a little bit more reassurance and that better health check, if you will, whether it's meditation or therapy or just taking 5 minutes away from everything, every electronic, and just taking a moment to breathe, relax. And it's okay to get out emotions. It's okay to not feel like you're the happiest person in the world. You don't have to be.
Right.
But you want to know mentally where you are, because people can tell you stuff left and right, but you drive your own mental ability and change. You control that. Nobody else can really control that for you. If anything, hopefully they can help contribute to make it a better situation for you. So I think it's really important. I think people should kind of hone in on those situations a little more to better prepare themselves for just mentally, emotionally, and physically being in a good presence.
Do you yourself feel like you have a good support network when it comes to this type of avenue?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of colleagues, a lot of friends, a lot of peers in the community of acting that have gone through different situations that you can always rely on. For me, I can always depend on, and they're either my mentor or I'm a mentor for them or somebody else. So it kind of comes full circle, which is really nice. It's, if you don't have an outlet or person to reach out to, it really makes it hard. So you got to find that person, again, whether it's a family member, a friend, a colleague, or a peer that just happens to be working with you on a particular project or production, maybe. As long as you trust them and you're comfortable with them.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what's next for you in the world of acting? Like what's coming down the pipeline for you?
So this year, there's at least 2 major productions or bigger productions that are in the pipeline so far. Still have a couple auditions coming through.
Okay.
So with that said, hopefully there's more in the books for 2025. The biggest one of the 2 I will mention, I think I'm allowed to mention this, I'm pretty sure, because it's already been kind of public.
If you're not able to, don't worry about it.
I can. I just can't probably get into, too much of the weeds of it, but there is going to be a Crack-Coon Part 2.
Okay.
So we've already made that more public, if you will.
Right.
But there was thoughts of doing a different like a trilogy or a series of that kind of branches out from Crack-Coon. In the original plan, we went back to the drawing board and we're going to do, Crack-Coon 2, which is kind of focusing on the same concept, but it's just 10 times worse of a situation in what's going on in that movie. So that's going to be probably the biggest production for 2025 because of my role in Crack-Coon Part 1. And my character was Frankie in that movie. Frankie was a lead role, and in the second part, from what I've known and seen so far in the script, Frankie is not only much more involved in what's going on, but he's 10 times crazier than he was in part 1.
Right.
And, you know, I'm not going to plug it too much, but I am happy to say for the first time ever, just a couple months ago, I was awarded by Horror Nation for best performance from a male actor in an independent horror film
Oh,
for
congratulations.
2024. Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We won 3 awards for Raccoon.
Nice.
So that was one of them. Another girl, Morgan Malam, she won best death scene,
Right.
which her death scene was epic. It was like none other you've seen. And then Raccoon itself won, you know, best horror film, independent horror film for 2024.
Okay.
And we were against some really big productions and titles for Raccoon. We were. Even on Screambox, who was the distributor for Raccoon. Screambox is also the distributor for the Terrifier movies. And so when our movie came out in October of last year, we were side by side ranking in the top 3 for new movie releases right next to Terrifier 2, which was for us pretty credible as a production because we were right there next to a much bigger and larger production.
Okay.
And again, we won 3 awards from that film, which is my first time being a part of that big of a production.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, a couple more questions before we get into it. I mean, you know, most of the stuff that you've done as an actor has been more towards like, you know, like the horror kind of genre.
Yeah.
At what point will you say to yourself, you know what, I think it's time for me to diversify into something else, like maybe like comedy or maybe like drama or action or something like that? Because, you know, one thing that I've noticed is that if you do like only like one style, unfortunately they're going to put that label of being a one-trick pony.
Typecasted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Typecasted, exactly.
So my question is, when would you like to diversify into something else to kind of show your more of your potential versatility as an actor?
Yeah. Well, now, I mean, like starting whenever, I would like to. There have been opportunities that I've auditioned for that were not at all in the horror genre,
Right.
or thriller, suspense. But just due to the nature of the business, you know, other actors were selected, so I just haven't had that opportunity.
Right.
The good thing with this genre that I've dabbled in, of horror and thriller, the last couple of productions showcased a little bit more comedy than the horror side of it. It was a slasher, but it was really a comedy.
So it was kind of like a fusion.
It was. If you think of like, and I love Anna Faris, if you think of like Scary Movie, Scary Movie 1 through 5.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I love those movies. Always been a fan of those films. Raccoon, in my mind, was just like Scary Movie. It was very much campy and a spoof.
Okay.
You had a lot of blood spill, but you had a lot of funny moments. Puns intended left and right. And that was my first role for me, getting into more of a comedic role.
Right.
And got an award off of that. So for me, I'm like, wow. And I love comedy. I love to make people laugh. So I feel like that's helped me kind of transition into a different avenue.
Right.
And I've done other things like drama as well, but when I first was kind of getting started in TV and film, more like there was like web series and soap opera series that are out there where I played more of a dramatic role. And there's some short films that I haven't put credits for myself or tagged myself through IMDb just because they're shorts. And a lot of the short films, you know, why it is a credit, I don't necessarily put it on my main page of like the full productions I've done.
Right.
So I have luckily had a chance to do those, but I would like to dabble into every genre to keep myself brushed up on those skills and being able to showcase my talent, my passion. To your point, I don't like to be typecasted, and sometimes you get into that point where you're pigeonholed into one genre, and I don't want to be.
Right.
So as long as I can bring projects on in the future that are a little bit of different areas and genres, I'm going to be completely satisfied.
Okay.
In my opinion, I think that I can do. And I'm not trying to sound like a stuck-up person here, but I do feel like I can give it my all for any genre.
Yeah.
And so far, I have been able to showcase that. So, if anything, that's what I'm looking to do is keep it open. I don't want to just be stuck in one avenue.
Well, for the record, I don't think that was stuck up. I just think that you're just displaying your confidence.
Well, thank you, because I always worry that people are going to be like, he's just whatever. And
No.
that's not me.
No.
But I thank you for that comment. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like saying, if you're trying to be casted for an action role or an action movie, and the role of the person that you're going to be playing is like a real person that knows how to fight, especially with martial arts, if I talk a lot about like, hey, I know this stuff and I've done it in my sleep and blah 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 blah, and because I am a third-degree black belt in Taekwondo, and I've competed in a lot of tournaments where we've done that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's not because I'm trying to be arrogant. I am stating that as fact.
Right.
And that is, to me, like, the proof is already in the pudding, because you can probably see documentation of that.
Yes.
Whether if it was like in a magazine periodical, or if it was online, or if there was like a YouTube clip.
Yeah.
The facts are there.
Right.
I'm not trying to be arrogant in any ways. This is the proof.
Right. It's already existing.
It's already existing.
Yeah.
So you're already, like, from what I got from you in that comment, I was like, that's a man who's very confident in knowing what he wants, and he knows he can get it.
Yeah.
So, again, I that was just you being confident. If anything, I admire you for that, because you're so bold in letting people know that you're confident, and you're not afraid to show that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, I thank you for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very passionate about it, and I try to be open-minded.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's
Yeah.
great. Well, this is the part of the Kim Hoang podcast experience where all of our guests do a real cool activity here that I like to call the rapid fire challenge.
Okay.
Where I'm going to ask a series of questions. It could be true, false. It could be multiple choice. It could be fill in the blank. It could be realistic questions. It could be non-realistic questions.
Okay.
So, example, I could ask you, if you are a person that would judge their life on soda, then what soda would you be between Coke or Pepsi? You might be like, Pepsi, because to me it tastes better and it's number one, Or I could ask you, true, false. Justin likes watching NBA basketball, and you can be like, false. I'm not really much of a basketball person.
That might be a quick false.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Good question.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready for it.
Or I could ask you like something silly, like, in the world of Super Mario Brothers, what character would you be? And you'd probably be like, I think I'm probably Mario, because he's just like the face of the series, and I like to be the face.
Right.
The main hero.
I always talk. I don't know if I do a good job of it in a Mario voice at home. I'm like, let's go all the time.
Nice.
All the time. I love Mario Kart and Mario Brothers, by the way. But anyway,
I'm a Mario Kart fan myself.
do you have a Nintendo 64 still?
I have the Nintendo 64. I have the Nintendo Switch.
Yes.
I can't wait until this year. The Nintendo Switch 2 is coming out.
Oh, I didn't know they're coming out with a 2.
Oh, yes, sir.
Oh,
Yeah, you go.
Man.
If you just look up the Nintendo Switch 2 commercial, you will be linked on YouTube on Nintendo's official website,
Okay.
and they have a commercial for it already.
Oh, man.
And I'm just like, oh,
I'm so ready.
There goes my $500.
Right, and I hope Mario Kart drops off first on that new Switch 2.
Oh, Mario Kart 9.
Oh, yeah.
So
ready.
I'm just like, let's go.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm so down.
I'm pumped.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, Justin Martin on one corner, and the other corner, we have the Rapid Fire Challenge. So let's go ahead and get this thing started.
All right.
I'm pumped and ready to go.
Yes.
Between the primary colors of yellow, blue, and red, your favorite color is?
Red.
Okay. Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Nice. Favorite traveling destination that you've been to, whether if it was domestic or international?
Costa Rica.
Wow.
Yeah.
What were you doing in Costa Rica?
Getting in trouble. No, I'm just kidding. I was, but yeah, Costa Rica. Just a beautiful tropical location.
Okay.
My spouse actually is from Costa Rica, so I used to go 3 or 4 times a year
No kidding.
before they moved here. Yep.
Oh, wow.
Love it. Beautiful area.
Nice.
Yeah.
I heard it's expensive.
Oh my God, it is. It's very expensive. And depending on where you go, it may not be worth the money because you might have nothing to do around you but look at the beach and the rainforest.
So I guess the American dollar's not really that great.
Not there.
Oh, man.
But in Colombia, like Barranquilla, you get a lot more for your money. You can get a full course meal for like $20. And I
Okay.
mean a full course meal.
Okay.
Steak and lobster.
Okay.
Yeah.
If money was not an issue and all expenses were paid, if you were to go anywhere in the world for 2 weeks on the company dime, then where would you like to go?
Bora Bora.
Really?
I want a water hut with beautiful crystal clear waters underneath my feet.
Okay.
Even though I can't swim.
Okay. Favorite kind of cuisine?
As far as foods go,
Yes, sir.
Italian.
Okay.
Love Italian.
Is there a specific Italian dish that you like?
I'm a huge lasagna fan.
Okay.
Anything with red sauce and ground beef, you got me hooked.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I do like I do love Italian. I do, but I always think that pasta dishes are a little bit more like that's the easy answer.
It is.
So I always say when they ask me that question, like, dude, it's all about the ossobuco.
That is probably a good answer, a better answer, yeah, because pasta is the easy way out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you a wine man?
I do. I am a wine man.
Red or white?
White.
Why?
Because red gives me headaches.
Okay.
Honest answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beer or liquor?
Liquor.
Liquor of choice.
Tito's.
Ooh.
Or bourbon.
Bourbon?
Yeah.
Oh, you're a bourbon man.
Just in this last 2 years.
Favorite bourbon?
Maker's Mark.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so far. I've only had like 3 types of bourbons. That was one of them, and it was very smooth.
I do fancy myself now. I am a fan of the whiskey arts.
Yeah.
But if you had to go ahead and put a gun to my head and say choose one, I would be like Jameson's.
Jameson's is good though.
Yeah,
It is.
I do like Jameson's. I just didn't like that. What was it? The Conor McGregor Proper 12.
Yeah.
I was like, something's off.
Yeah.
Something's off. I mean, yes, you are from Ireland, and yes, you are like this, MMA, big type thing in the UFC. But when it comes to the alcoholic arts, my friend, you failed.
Yeah.
You failed badly.
Yeah, try again. Yeah.
Yeah, go back to Jameson's, please.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see. We've discussed this a little bit earlier, but we will revisit this.
Okay.
If horror was not an option, what genre of film would you like to act in?
Ooh, safe zone comedy, because I can do it naturally.
Okay.
Testing my abilities, drama.
Okay.
Being able to cry,
Okay.
show emotions. Yep.
Would you be open to be doing action film?
Yes. I laugh because my body, the way it is now, I feel like I'm very dramatic, by the way. So if I hurt my finger, I'm like, hospital, please. So knowing me, I might need a stunt double, but I would love to do action and would love to do a nice fighting sequence, to be honest with you.
Who did it better, Bruce Lee or Jackie Chan? I'm sorry, I had to go
Yeah, I'm a fan of Jackie Chan. So
Yes!
I'm going to say Jackie. Yeah. That's a hard one.
All right.
They're both really good.
No, they're really good. I feel like Bruce Lee was good in terms of action for what he did.
Yeah.
But I feel like Jackie Chan took it to another level.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
100%. Yes.
I mean, how many, martial arts actors actually do their own stunts?
I know.
And the degree of difficulty and the danger?
I agree. He's fearless, I tell you.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Can you cook?
Yes.
What is your fail-safe dish that you can make that you know that if you had to make something with 0 mistakes, what is that dish?
It's a little bit complicated, but I've been really good at making it. So I'm going to say I usually would do it around holidays, maybe like a baked macaroni and cheese with a layer of cornbread on top.
Okay,
it's
macaroni
not-
and cheese I'm not mad about. I'm just trying to throw my mind on the cornbread on top.
A little bit of layer. It's just like half an inch to an inch thick. It's just not taking up too much.
Right.
But if you love cornbread and you love mac and cheese, it's kind of like a soul food dish, in my opinion, more or less. I like to make it all together with a little bit of a layer. You can add honey on top, or if you want a little bit of spice, some hot sauce, depending on your preference. And both go really good with the mac and cornbread.
See, now my head's like, running around it, like, the possibilities here.
Yeah.
Ooh.
There's so it's more of a not standard dish, but that is something I enjoy being able, and I used to make it when my family, like when we'd have like gatherings and stuff.
Is there a type of cuisine or a food that you will not eat?
Venison, I do not eat deer meat just because it's nasty. I've had it once and I threw up and I never will have it again. Traumatized since I was a kid. Hate
Really?
venison. Or anything that's not normal. Chicken, fish, beef. If you're eating venison or squirrel or rabbit, then you can't sit next to me.
I mean, that's fair.
I don't have a palate for that kind of stuff. I stick to the norm.
I mean, I've had rabbit before because, obviously, I've traveled to France and obviously they have some French dishes that incorporate that.
Was it good? Was it chewy or tender? I don't know.
I hate to say this term or this phrase.
Don't say moist.
Because, no, because
Okay.
it's like cliche. But I felt like it tastes like chicken.
Okay.
It's a little bit more, gamier and bolder.
Yeah.
But, that's the reference I could give.
Yeah.
And I feel it's like one of those things where, like, if you don't fear the label of
Yeah.
the animal that you're eating, then I think you're good.
Yeah.
If you just say, hey, we're eating rabbit, and you freak out, that's when it goes downhill.
I think that's me.
Okay, no,
And I'm
I
big
respect that.
And I'm big on texture.
Yeah.
Like when eating stuff.
Yeah.
If it's too chewy, there's no way it's going down the hatch.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Are you a sushi man?
Oh, I love sushi.
Nice.
Love sushi.
Okay, very cool. As we know, Mount Rushmore is a monument in the Dakotas where, 4 of our American forefathers are carved in the stone forever. So if you had to have your own personal Mount Rushmore of actors,
Oh my gosh.
who's in it?
Oh my gosh, that's good.
I'm sorry I had to do that to you.
Yeah, no, good. I thought you were going to ask me who were the presidents on there because I don't even know the answer to that.
I couldn't do that to you. There's no way. No way.
Okay, so
It could be actor or actress.
yeah, well, good, because Jennifer Aniston's definitely going up there. She's always been a childhood favorite up to now. So Jennifer Aniston, for
Ding,
sure.
ding, ding, ding.
Yes. I would say also I'm a big Drew Barrymore fan.
Ooh.
So if I had to pick 2, they're going to be my 2 that stick up there
Okay.
because they're my childhood favorites.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Never Been Kissed. I mean, come on now.
Oh my God, such a good movie.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, who else? I'm going to try to do dudes now. 2 guys. So I really like Bruce Willis. I've always been a good
Okay.
Bruce fan.
Okay.
Not that he's my favorite now, but he's had a good run in worthwhile productions.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he deserves a spot. So I'll put him up there. For my 4th one,
And final.
who would I want to put up there? I'm going to go with somebody who hits the comedy bell for me. And I'm going to say Jim Carrey.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Good one.
Because he's
sir.
somebody I enjoy kind of feeding off of when it comes to comedy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Out of those 4 that you've mentioned, if you had to pick one and only one that you would like to act in a major motion picture movie with, who is it?
Hands down, Jennifer Aniston.
I was going to say that. I think that's where you were going to go.
Hands down. Yeah. Yeah.
What is it about Jennifer Aniston that you love?
Her range of acting and her abilities, especially in comedy. I feel like her compared to like Drew Barrymore, I feel like Drew's had more drama than I think Jennifer has overall in their career. So because I am more of a comedy man, I'm going with Jennifer in this case. But Jennifer, like, I used to have a crush on her. I still love her. Like, she's always been a female crush of mine.
She's got that killer hair.
She does. And,
Oh my God.
and she doesn't show her age
No,
as
she
much
doesn't.
as she should.
Yeah.
Like, what doctor do you go to? Let me know.
Or what magical food are you eating? What physical training regimen that you hit in the gym?
Is it legal? Like,
Yeah.
what, how have you removed your fine lines? So definitely Jennifer, for reasons of just loving her
Oh, my
and knowing her ability in comedy. I feel like it would be a hilarious movie if I could work with her in a comedic role and just bounce off of each other. That
Okay.
would be a dream.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you had 24 hours of free time where you didn't have to do anything but anything that you wanted to do, what would you do with those 24 hours?
I would go on a one-day cruise. It sounds stupid. I feel the most lifted spiritually when I'm on the water.
Okay.
Even though I cannot swim and I'm afraid of what's underneath that surface. I've been on like 3 or 4 cruises, and I feel like it's like, to me, it's an outer body experience because you're in openness.
Okay.
There's nothing. You're not in the city. You can't even see when you look straight ahead what's in front of you. It's just open water.
Right.
It's so peaceful. It's so quiet. So for me, like, that's where my mental strength battery starts to recharge fully, because I am away from everything. Drama, everyday life, the hustle and bustle. It's peaceful. So I would like to be, it doesn't have to be on a cruise, but somewhere on the water with just peace and tranquility. You know what I mean? Or sleeping, because I sometimes just want to sleep.
That's fair. I am going to alter this question because now that you've mentioned this, here we go. Would you rather find yourself on a beach or in a swimming pool?
On a beach.
Okay.
Because then I have a choice of getting in the water.
No, that's fair. Yeah.
In a pool, I'm probably going to have to doggy paddle to save my life.
That depends because, there could be swimming pools where it's just strictly shallow.
Yeah.
There could be swimming pools where it's so big that on one side of it, it's shallow, and then the other side is when it starts to go downhill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't go on that end.
Okay.
But I can doggy paddle to save my life.
That's fair.
I've done it before.
That's fair.
Yeah.
If there was one extreme thing that you would like to do, whether if it was like skydiving or, let's say, bungee jumping or going down a mountain with a mountain bike, or let's say, for example, skiing or snowboarding,
Yeah.
what would you like to do?
You hit on it almost at the very beginning. I want to do parachuting. I've always wanted to try it. I've done hot air ballooning, which is not the same, but you're still quite up there in the sky.
No, but that's still like when you're in a hot air balloon, you see that sight.
Yeah, you see
gorgeous.
everything. Yeah. And I loved it. And, I used to be really afraid of heights. And the older I get, I feel like it's starting to get a little bit more woozy for me when I'm up high.
Right.
But parachuting, you are up high, or maybe it's between skydiving, parachuting, whatever. You're hopefully bound to come down. So, that is the goal. So you're going to make it on the ground.
Right.
But I want that opportunity to try that. I think it'd be fun. And really, it's risky and it's scary because you really don't know where you're going to land.
Right.
So as long as it's not around water, then I'm good.
Okay.
Because if I see water beneath me, I'm already praying to God, and hopefully my soul has exited my body, just like my shit has in my pants, before I land on that ground.
Fair.
But it's worth the risk. I want that adrenaline rush.
What is the one piece of advice that was given to you that you follow to this day?
To challenge yourself. It sounds very generic, but in whatever you do, whether you want to do it or you're facing a fear or an obstacle in life, to push yourself and challenge yourself outside of your comfort zone.
Okay.
Yep, I stick by that all the time, and honestly, if I didn't do that, I don't think I'd be where I am today.
This one is going to be more towards a question where it's going to aim towards, because there are a lot of people out there that are unfortunately, for a lack of a better term, very narrow-minded, especially with a lot of, negativity that they spew.
Right.
So how important is equality when it comes to, the LGBTQ community? Like, how is it, how important is it to have, equality in that right and equality in, all over as a whole?
Yeah. Well, my perspective on, your choice in sexuality, or however you want to label when it comes to LGBTQIA+ now. I mean, I just stick with LGBT because it shouldn't be all the extras in my mind. We get it. We get it. I'm in the avenue, so I get it. I'm a spokesperson. Let's just call it what it is.
Right.
But I do think it's important. I think everyone deserves to have a voice and everyone deserves to be happy. But in short, I do think, just like I live this life, everybody should be mindful of who's around and who's the audience.
Right.
I think there's some areas that you can kind of cross on a level of comfort, and you can't control how somebody else feels. Let's just face it.
Yeah.
So, do I agree with, a drag queen reading a book to kids in an elementary school? I think maybe, but it depends on, are they also trying to give a show at the same time? What is happening in that moment? I think there's a certain level, and again, I'm saying this being somebody in that field.
Right.
So I feel like I can voice it hopefully without people taking offense to it, but I feel like depending on what you're doing, just be mindful and don't overdo it, because I understand you're trying to have a voice and prove a point.
Yep.
And it's important to do that. But have a better mission in that perspective.
Right.
Where's your end goals? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish?
Right.
And what impact are you trying to have on the community? Because that's really important.
Yeah.
So I do believe you should have a voice just like anybody else, and rights should not be taken away from you. But again, we have to respect not just how you feel as a member of LGBT, like myself, but you have to respect the person in front of you and what they feel, because it's like a game of tug of war otherwise, and you're trying to win. Don't be so set on that. Like, understand and respect others' perspectives, just like you want people to respect your perspective.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Right. Do you feel that, ignorance and let me see if I can phrase this correctly. Do you think that having, with the ignorance and not being well aware of certain things, do you feel like that's ever going to come to an end where we're going to have, human understanding and human respect? Or do you feel like the ongoing struggle of that type of negative vibe is going to happen forever?
I think, unfortunately, it's always going to be there, no matter how far we are into the future. The good thing about nowadays, and the generation of our grandparents, for those who are in their 30s and 40s, where it was not tolerated back then, you're in the realm now of a different era. So it's more accepted, it's more, okay, quote unquote. But there's always, even if it's not grandparents or elders who are just used to a certain lifestyle and behavior,
right,
there's always going to be, for lack of a better word, politics around it that you can't control. Unfortunately. So I think it's always going to be there. Even if it's on the back burner, it's still brewing a little bit. It really just depends on, who you are, where you live, how far you let it, or how much you let it affect you, how active you are in that position, if you will, in your community, and how much you voice your opinions and concerns on the topic.
Nice.
For me, I've never had hatred. Well, as an adult, I've never had hatred towards me. If anything, I'm always welcoming and respectful to anybody, and I agree with, it's a two-way street. I'm going to respect you, respect me. I won't do anything that's going to make you feel uncomfortable, as long as you don't do that to me. So that's kind of like how I feel, but there's always going to be that underlying, that's not the normal in people's opinions, in some people. And some people just don't care.
If there's a young person that says, hey, I want to do what you're doing in being an actor, because that's, I think that's my calling. What kind of advice would you give that person?
We hit on this a little bit a couple questions ago. Something I was told and I've learned is to push yourself out of your comfort zone. And if you're not willing to put the work in, then I don't think you're willing to work in the craft. So you have to go outside your boundaries. You have to accept 20 no's before you get one yes. Don't let it get you down. Build up your portfolio, build up your background and experience, because once you lay the groundwork and the framework and you start having a couple things under your belt, then the sky's the limit. You have a foundation.
Yep.
Everything else from there is just a stepping stone.
Okay. Spotify, yes or no?
I don't have Spotify.
Oh,
I know.
Get out.
I see that in front of me you have an iPhone. So I'm an Android user.
Hey, that's fair.
And I will say that for those who, like if I have an app like streaming music, I have Pandora. Do I use it often? No, because you can download. Well, I shouldn't say this on the air. Anyways,
we'll figure that out later.
We'll figure out the tricks and stuff. That's why I love me some good Google, Samsung phones, because it's easy access to different things.
If your life was a jukebox, give me 5 musical acts that would be in that jukebox, guaranteed.
Oh my gosh, I don't know if I could think of 5.
Or maybe 3. 5 or 3, whatever that you think that would be suffice for this.
Are we saying musical acts like Broadway and performances type of?
I was thinking more like the big time. Like somebody that you might see at the Grammys.
Oh, okay. I see. Because I was thinking like Wicked. I love all the songs on Wicked. But
Wicked was good, though. I did see that. I did see that recently.
I saw it five
times.
times.
And I will say that really, I thought I was not going to like it, and I liked it. I was like, dude,
yeah,
okay,
it's great, right?
Yeah, no, it's fantastic.
Yeah. So I'll stick with 3 because I love a lot of artists. I really do.
Okay.
My go-to is always going to be R&B and hip hop, even old school or new school. A lot of my answers are probably going to be going back to my genre. I'm a millennial.
Yep.
So I won't go back too far before that, even though there's some great artists back then. I don't want to discredit them, but I'm definitely going to say number 1 would be Chris Brown, because even though he's had some behavioral issues, shame on him.
Right.
He always has great music, and I've never hated any of his songs.
I liked his earlier stuff.
When he sounded like a woman.
I mean, I
loved
don't
it.
know your name, but
Yes.
excuse me, miss. I saw you from across the room.
Yes. That was a good era.
Yeah, that was a good era.
Such a good era.
Yeah.
So he's definitely one. I'm gonna name an artist that's not as known or frequent in the industry, in my opinion, because she hasn't had stuff out in a while now.
Okay.
But Jasmine Sullivan is somebody that I always get goosebumps and tingles when I hear any of her songs.
Okay.
She is someone who has that voice that is very raspy. It has a lot of soul in it.
Yeah.
And it just kind of like Lauryn Hill. It just kind of makes you like you're in your zone of meditation when you hear Jasmine Sullivan. She's R&B, but she has a lot of great music.
Yep.
So all her music will either bring tears to your eyes or make you feel like it's relatable or just give you goosebumps.
Okay.
So she's number 2 as well. If I had to choose, I'm going to give it to another female. I want to give it to a rap artist because I just feel like, I was going to say Rihanna, but I want to get out of R&B for a second because I've already named 2 R&B artists. I want to go down the avenue of rap. I'm not going to go far back like Lil' Kim, respect to her, but I am going to say this is a newer artist in the last 5 years, maybe even less, 3 years maybe, but I'm going to give it up to Meg Thee Stallion.
Okay.
Because comparable to her and like Cardi B, I think Meg, I respect her growth. She is still in school, actively working to progress in her career.
Yep.
And always talks about that being something she's doing actively while in music.
Yep.
So I can respect her for her grind and her motivation in getting where she is. And all her music is like definitely a bop. It's something that you just like Nicki or Cardi or Lil' Kim.
Right.
It's always going to be good content, and she has good music with good features with different artists that I love.
Okay.
Artists that I love now, like, you have different artists like Bad Bunny and those from other countries and just in a different area of the industry. And she has a couple songs with Cardi B. So she always has good content, and it's not just her content. So I'm going to put it up for now with those 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a few more questions.
Okay.
This one is something that really throws people off, but this one is a good question. Say, for example, you got an invitation to go and get a free dinner at a Michelin 3-star restaurant.
Oh.
And you're like, cool, I'm coming. Give me the date and time. You get over to the restaurant and you're there and you're ready to go. And you see that your name is right there on the table and you're like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be at.
Okay.
And on that table, you find out there are 3 more available slots to have as your personal guest. Now, this is where it gets tricky.
Okay.
Who would you like to have as a guest? The conditions are as follows. They could be somebody that you know personally.
Okay.
They could be somebody that you don't know personally.
Okay.
It could be a regular average Joe. It could be somebody that's very, very famous, whether if they're an actor or a musician or professional athlete. And some people have done like, hey, I want to have somebody that's like in the medical field. That's fine.
Yeah.
They could be living. They can be deceased.
Okay.
Who are the 3?
Oh my gosh, that is a really tricky question.
I had to do it.
Because it's opened up for so much.
I had to do it. I'm sorry.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow, that is a hard one. Okay, so 3 other seats. Sorry, everybody else. We just don't have room for you at our table. Oh, God.
And it could be anybody you want.
Yeah. Okay, so I am a big fan of Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
I would love her to come back for a moment.
Yes.
And sit with me at the table.
Just one moment in time.
Please give it to me. Yes. Because there's a lot of questions I would have. So definitely her.
Okay.
And I think that would be a really good time. I'm thinking of like major movie producers as well. And I have a lot to learn in the industry, and I think somebody that I'd like to have at the table with me to kind of dig at their brain and give me some advice is Spielberg. I think that would be, I would probably be a little bit nervous for that dinner because I would want to get so much out of him, and he's a wealth of knowledge.
Yep.
And if you have an opportunity to meet him, I'm sure it's going to be an unforgettable one. So I know it's really random, but I would also pick him. I need somebody fun that's going to bring live energy at the table and just make it so much fun. So for that reason, this is a good one. I mean, not a good one, but a good question and thought. Somebody who just brings life and energy. Oh my gosh. I don't know. Like, my mind is thinking to somebody who's done reality TV and a little bit of music and dabbled into both sides of the avenue and industry. So I've mentioned this person a couple minutes ago. I'm going to say I would want Cardi at my table.
Okay.
Because I want a little bit of ratchet. I want a little bit of class. At the end of the day, I want a little bit of fun.
There you go.
And I think she's going to bring that energy that we need.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and who doesn't like, a good time to just twerk and have fun?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself 5-10 years from now when it comes to you being an actor?
Where I hope to see myself, where I'm progressing towards, is I hope to have an opportunity to work with new producers, ongoing, new directors, and new talent. It's great working with the same faces because you already have that relationship and rapport.
Yep.
But I feel like in order to get myself more involved in the industry and a little bit more seasoned of an actor, I do think it's important to kind of step outside my comfort zone.
Yep.
So I think that's going to be an important part of my progression. That's something I'm hoping for. I would love to make it to the point where 3 years from now, I've made it onto more of a major production.
Yep.
Major being, more of a union status, which it would require me to get to that level.
Right.
But maybe there's an opportunity to do a lesser part, but have that opportunity where I could be non-union and be in a major production. So again, working with different talent, new directors, having new doors opened, and getting into a little bit more of a major production outside of the East Coast.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Final question. When it's pretty much when you have ridden into the sunset, meaning that it's your final swan song, and and it's all done. What kind of legacy would you want to leave for the world? Like if somebody was to visit your grave and it says, "Here lies Justin Martin," what else would you want it to say?
Hopefully something good, not the a-hole.
Oh no!
No, I don't think I've ever been called that. Maybe. I think I want it to say. I'm trying not to sound cliche, like the overall guy, the overall brother. I really just I want to be able to leave a legacy and a mark on people of being able to have an impact on people. Mm-hmm. And however it would best be worded on a tombstone, let's go ahead and carve it in.
Okay.
I just want to be able to leave a lasting impression on somebody, whether it's somebody I've mentored individually, whether it's somebody in a production I've worked with, and helping them grow. I just think it's important to not only do for myself, but be able to lead somebody else in the right direction.
Okay.
However it is in their life, however it may be.
Okay.
I just want to leave a lasting impact.
I would definitely say at this point that you facing the rapid fire like you did, I think that you handled it with a lot of class and a lot of decorum. I think that there were some questions that might have threw you off, but but if this was a martial art, you just basically kicked them over to the side and say, you know what, get out of the way.
Yeah.
And and by that, you did well.
Thank you.
You did really well. This is the part of the podcast where I'm going to give you time to say whatever it is that you want to say. If you want to talk about, upcoming film projects that you want to push, that you want to promote, feel free to do so. If you want to give a shout out to certain people that are very important in your life, if you want to go ahead and promote social media or just ways how you can be contacted, feel free, because at this moment, the floor is yours. Go for it.
Okay. Thank you. So I would like to put a plug in just to kind of share with those who maybe do not follow me on social media, just to stay in contact with some of my upcoming productions and where I'm going next. So if you are on Facebook, which I'm more active on, I would say on Facebook, I'm under Justin Kendall Martin. No, I'm not stuck up, but Kendall was my model teaching name. My students used to say I look like the real live Ken doll Barbie, so I've kept that as my middle name on Facebook. So Justin Kendall Martin. On Instagram, Kendall_JP. Keep in contact with me. I'd like to hear from people if they're interested, and I have a really good opportunity. For some reason, I'm just like the Dr. Phil of a lot of different situations for people, and I feel like I've been able to help bridge connections with talent who are looking to get into productions. I've done a lot of referrals, and I would love to help somebody who's eager to get into the industry get their feet wet in a production, whether that's coaching them, helping them prepare for what could come, or just getting them in the face of a director to get their opportunity there. So stay in contact with me, all of you who are out there. And my takeaway notes, because I've loved everybody I've worked with, favorite director, producer, I want to shout out Brad Twigg, because I do think Brad has become more like a brother, father figure to me in my dreams and my goals, and he's given opportunities to me that others have not. And he allows me to challenge myself, which is always my ever-ending goal, to be the best person that I could be in any character I get. So shout out to Brad for that. Very admirable person. I really love working with Brad. In general, my last thought would just be, I want people to, I don't post a lot, I don't think, on social media, to be honest. I just don't put my time and energy into as much posting as I probably should. But, I've had a lot of opportunity to work with different people, and as we talked about a little bit ago, helping people. For a while in my life, I worked for a company that helped kids and teenagers who were battling depression and who were being bullied because of their sexuality in school. We have a lot of kids who are who are maybe LGBT, they don't even know it yet, and they're just constantly being bullied in school and being beat up or worried to go to school. There is a couple people who I know, unfortunately, who took their lives at a young age, which at one point or another I was in that same boat, to be honest with you, when I was young. And I've become a mentor to those young kids to really help give them the tools and foundation they need to know that it does get better. It does get better. You just have to find your outlets and the people you work with to get you there. So I'm going to take that into the nowadays with talent and, let's just say, actors, for example, in the community. Don't put yourself down. Again, it goes back to, like, you're going to get rejections and failures, and it does hurt. It sucks, but it's a part of the job. And I just want to see my fellow peers in the industry continue to rise to the top. And I think to get there, they have to keep pushing themselves. It's the only way they're going to get there. If you have any self-doubt, if you're mad about you just haven't gotten where you want to be, maybe it's time you look in the mirror to see how much work have you really put into it. So I just want to encourage everyone to continue striving for their dreams and their goals. And if you need anybody to talk to about it, I'm always here. I love to give feedback to people and just help push them in the right direction and challenge themselves. And that's my final thought.
It has been an honor and a pleasure to have you here on this show today. If I didn't know anything about you before, I feel like I've learned more now of the type of person that you are and the character that you are as a person. I think that you are well driven. You're very passionate. You're very caring, and the fact that you're all these and a bag of chips, you definitely have my respect.
Thank you.
I wish you nothing but the best in, all of your endeavors, especially with acting. And if you want to come back and do a round 2, you have an open invitation to come back.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm honored and I appreciate that opportunity.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
been a blast. We had a great conversation.
Yeah, I think so. It feels like it's like, I always say this, and I hate to say it because it sounds like a broken record, but I feel like it can't be more from the truth that with certain guests, it feels like they're like the person next door that I grew up with, and I've known them for a while. And when we have this moment, it's like, hey, we haven't talked in a while, but we can easily pick up where we last left off, and it's a cool thing.
Yeah,
it's a real good vibe.
Don't you love that feeling?
Yeah, absolutely. And I just wish that life would just work like that.
Yeah,
it's a shame that it isn't. I really feel like we have the potential to do that.
Yeah.
But we have a long way to go.
We have a long way to go.
We definitely have a long way to go.
That's right.
Yeah. Justin, it is a pleasure, sir.
Thank you, Kim.
Yes,
Thanks
sir.
again for bringing me on your show.
Yes, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it. We're wrapping things up. I mean, wow. I didn't think it was going to go, as they say in the sports business, the distance, but it did. And it's amazing and it's awesome. And once again, you can't get this on a solo episode that I do. You can only get something like this that is like with a guest, and with guests like Justin and other people that I've had. We're creating great content together, and that's the name of the game. We do it all not only for ourselves, but we do it for you guys as well, because I believe, at least in my opinion, someone out there in the world is probably listening to this, and if they can get at least one good thing out of it, I feel like the mission is already completed. That's great. That's awesome. If you take 2 good things or 3 good things, hey, I'm not complaining. That's great. Use that. So let's go ahead and get the closing notes, because you know what? After 4 seasons, you would think that I got this down to a science. And trust me, I don't. I really don't. And I apologize to you guys, but it is what it is. Find me, guys. I am on Facebook. Search me under the search box and type in the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. Please follow it. You know what I mean? We always have something up and running up in there. At least we have been more proactive with it. So, please follow it, and we appreciate it. We are on other social media outlets. Twitter, now known as X, and Instagram. You can find me under the tag name TKHPC Experience, all in one word, lowercase letters. Follow me and I'll follow you back. This is the part where I'm very proud of. I usually would say that we are on 5 podcasting platforms, but I'm proud to announce now that has grown to 6. Yes, an even number. You didn't know this, but this is a hot exclusive. We are on 6 podcasting platforms. So let me list it out. Spotify, Apple Podcast. We are on Amazon Music. We are on YouTube Music. We are on Audible, which is not only a podcasting platform, but it is also a platform for audiobooks powered by Amazon. And now the newly crowned member of the family, the new home of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience, iHeartRadio. Yes, you heard that correctly, ladies and gentlemen. We are on iHeartRadio right now. It is truly incredible that we have literally just moments ago, we sealed the deal. And it is fantastic. So to all of my iHeartRadio friends and family members and supporters, we didn't think we would even get that far. But the fact that we're now are on iHeartRadio is incredible. And stay tuned. I will make an episode mini talking about this. But I just wanted to give you the exclusive that you heard it here first. Yes, the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience is on iHeartRadio, baby. Trust and believe that. Do us a favor. If you have Spotify, please give us a 5-star ranking. If you have Apple Podcasts, please give us a 5-star ranking and a positive written review. Because the more times that you do that for both of those podcasting platforms, our podcast will be thrown right into the front lines, and somebody could be like, oh my gosh, it's the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. Yo, that was that one podcast that had Kay Leahy on it, and then my friend Michael told me about this. We should go ahead and like and follow it and subscribe to it. Yes, like the podcast. Subscribe to it on all the podcasting platforms. And you know what else? Do us a favor. Share this information with all your friends, either on social media, because we have a whole bunch of them, the Facebook, the Twitter, which is now known as X, the Instagram, the Snapchat, the TikToks, all of that stuff. Or if you want to do it old school, tell people in person, like your friends, your family members, your coworkers, your constituents. Maybe you want to talk to your neighbor next door and be like, yo, Mr. Jones, have you heard about the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience? Because it's definitely worth your while, my man. Yeah, let them know that way. And last but not least, if you want to be a special guest, if you want to be a special guest host, if you have any constructive criticism about the podcast, and or if you catch me on a solo episode and you have a question for our Q&A form, give me an email. Email me at the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience at gmail.com. Whatever the subject matter is, put it under the subject box, and then in that body of the email, tell me what it is that you want. And I promise you, if you email it out within 2 days at the very most, I will have read it. I will respond back, because I do like that type of communication. It's very, very important and dear to me, and I take that stuff serious. So if you email me, I will email you back, no problem. But that's all the time that I got, guys. It has been wonderful. Again, I did not think it was going to go the distance of all 15 rounds, but we went swinging, and it's over. It's over, and it's great. And like I always tell people, this is not just my podcast. This is your podcast. And as long as you want me to still create stuff, I guess I'm going to just keep on going until I literally can't anymore, until the wheels fall off and, you find me on my deathbed and I might be flatlining. I'm going to keep doing it until I say it's time. So, please be safe out there, make the right decisions in life, ladies and gentlemen, because it doesn't do us any good that, if you do something dangerous and you land in a pine box and get buried 6 feet under. We do not want that to happen. We want you to be happy. We want you to be healthy. We want you to be living life. We want you to strive. We want you to be successful, because you are worth it. And anybody says, if anyone in life says that you are not worth the damn, you're going to fail, you're not fit for it, why don't you just give up? Take any hand that you got, any of them, and give them the middle finger. Tell them, to F off, or, STFU, and tell them to go kick rocks, because you have no time for that type of negativity, man. Those type of days of hating, that might have been fine back in the days of the Vietnam War, but we're like in 2025 now. It's a new time. It's a new regime. Things are a little bit different. We run this now. We are the masters of our own destiny. You can do whatever it is that you want to do. Please believe it. And if you don't believe it, trust me when I say this. I never thought in my wildest dreams that a kid like myself, originally from Annapolis, Maryland, would ever get this far in doing a podcast show, let alone start one. And the fact that I've been doing it for 4 seasons strong and still doing it and defying the odds, I don't know what to tell you other than the fact that, I'm still here fighting my fight in the proverbial boxing ring. So if that's anything to you, if that motivates you, hey, go take it for what it's worth, and I hope that you guys can achieve whatever you want. I hope that you guys are successful. And if you need anything, reach out, guys. Like, seriously, I will not turn away, a comment where like, hey, I need to talk and I need this. And I'll be like, okay, cool. So for the one time, guys, thank you very much. This is your boy Kim Hoang, the Asian sensation, coming in from the KU dungeon for my guest, Justin Martin. We want to say thank you. God bless y'all. Be safe out there. And you know what? According to my invisible Rolex, it's time to go. So we will see you on the next one. God bless y'all. Take care. And we are out. Deuces and peace.